Good evening, everyone. My name is Jay James, and welcome to Analysis Of, where we analyze characters, movies, all sorts of different topics. If you want a topic discussed, leave a comment down below. We're just getting started here, so chances are, if you do comment, I will do the video. In fact, I totally will, because I'll simp hardcore. Anyways, I saw the new Batman movie, The Batman, not to be confused with the awesome animated series from the early 2000s. This movie was awesome right from the opening scene. Man, that whole sequence that kind of reminded me of Dunkirk with the 3 different crimes going on at the same time, and then them getting afraid of the bat signal and looking in the shadows because Batman is the shadows. That stuff was so good. And then, of course, early on, we got that iconic scene where Batman says this line, "I'm vengeance." And what we initially think is this badass, super memorable line is recontextualized later as a character flaw. And what we get after this is, in my opinion, a contender for the best live-action Batman scene ever. If you've seen the movie, you probably already know what scene I'm talking about. But we gotta talk about what leads to this moment before I reveal it, even though you already know what it is. Let's go. Throughout the course of this 3-hour movie, we watch Batman develop empathy for this child. He is the child of the mayor that was murdered in the opening scene. And thanks to the brilliant misdirection of that opener having us initially believe it is the Waynes, kind of like the '89 movie, we see the parallel and how this kid reminds Bruce of his younger self. Bruce sees the same pain in his eyes that he had when he lost his parents under similar circumstances, and this is the first step towards him building more empathy. Shortly after, he stalks Selina Kyle, which also parallels the opening of the Riddler stalking the kid and his parents, creating a parallel to Batman and Riddler. Ooh! Before meeting her face to face and using her to get intel on who's inside the Penguin's underground club she works at. His initial interactions with her are cold and distant, and when she remarks that he doesn't care about her, he gives an expression alluding to the fact that he does, but chooses not to say anything rather than assure her. It is still only his mission that matters. When we first see him and Alfred interact, he pulls a Tobey Maguire Spider-Man and says Alfred isn't his father, trying to keep Alfred at arm's length in spite of their connection. But then, there's a turning point towards the end of the second act. Bruce nearly loses Alfred when the Riddler tries to kill Bruce Wayne with a bomb sent to his house. And it is here, after nearly losing Alfred, that he allows himself to open up and express that he cares for him. It is also at this point that Selina actually loses her girlfriend at the hands of a father that continued to abandon her, even after her mother died. After almost experiencing a loss himself, Bruce begins to actually feel for her and speak to her in a concerning manner rather than a disconnected one. Not only does Bruce learn to see a bit of himself in the people he saves, but also realize through characters like Selina and even the Riddler that they didn't get the luxuries he had. Bruce's wealth is an advantage that others in Gotham have used for their selfish lust of power, rather than for the good of others. And in a way, while Bruce's intentions are clearly certainly much better, he's doing the same thing. He sees Selina fall down a dark path as she wants to kill her father. And when this happens, his fight changes. No longer does he want to fight for himself, but for Selina's soul. He doesn't want her to fall down an even darker path than his own. He sees where she's going and is reminded of the line that he fears crossing. Perhaps if it weren't for Alfred and that little bit of empathy he already had, he would have by now. The strength of Bruce's heroism is especially challenged by the fact that Carmine Falcone, her father, also played a role in the death of his father. Bruce wins this challenge. But there's one more to face in the third act. Finally, we are here at the finale. The Riddler and his team of dark web mercenaries have detonated bombs that destroy the Gotham Harbor and send water flowing through the city. Gotham is now at its lowest low. Bruce states early in the film that somehow, in spite of his efforts, crime has continued to go up. He's known that what he's doing isn't working, but it is not until that wire is hanging over the water, about to electrocute the people coming out of the rubble, that he makes a bold sacrifice. He cuts the line with the battering, falls into the water, and the vengeful Batman, the one who mirrored the Riddler and Catwoman with his thirst for vengeance and desire to inflict pain upon others, drowns in it. And what emerges from the water is the hero that the people of Gotham need. When he lights the flare, offers a helping hand, and guides everyone out of that rubble and into the open, his arc is complete. This is the moment that I would consider to be one of Batman's greatest on-screen moments, if not the greatest. Then to amplify these feels we're already feeling, we get this short scene of a girl who doesn't want to let him go before being airlifted. Goddamn, that shit was powerful. We hardly ever get to see Batman actually save people in these movies, unless it's a character relevant to the plot. The audience, much like Batman himself, has rarely gotten the chance to see the impact he has or could have on others. You know, being a superhero. Since studios and audiences alike have realized that origin stories are very redundant, we've seen them take a new approach with storytelling. Rather than learn and then start and then learn, and I think this is working in the genre's favor tremendously. Batman Begins did a great job with the learn and then start method. We saw him learn the emotional mastery with the League of Shadows, get the ninja training, learning the ways of the criminal. All this stuff was really cool, but I think I like this more. You see, in the Tom Holland Spider-Man movies and in this movie, they already have the iconic suits, but they're still learning lessons that are crucial to their development as characters, that mold them into the iconic hero that we love so much. But it's really cool to see them have flaws in their ideologies, character flaws to work through, and to see them not always handle things perfectly. You know, they look over a high altitude that they're at, and they kind of are scared. That's more realistic than, say, you know, when Christian Bale pops in and is like, I'm Batman. And, you know, from there, he's just like, he's great. He's great. So yeah, this was awesome, and DC's last two releases, Zack Snyder's Justice League and Suicide Squad, were awesome. So I'm excited to see the next three movies that they have coming out this year and see if they can continue that streak. But hey, we still got Black Adam coming out. I'm pretty excited for that, and I loved the first Shazam, so like, come on. Shazam 2 is gonna be sick. Stay tuned for more content. Until then, this is Analysis of J. James, signing out.